Hello everyone, it's Monica. I'm the founder of Thomas Community Consulting, where my company specializes in event planning, public relations, community outreach, and professional development training. What I wanted to do today was to bring you a video regarding how to plan a great event. These past couple of weeks, I've planned about 3 or 4 events, and I have one coming up tomorrow, one coming up in May, and then one in June. I wanted to just give you all some tips on how to make sure that you have a very successful event. Just some notes that I took from planning my events, and wanted to share some things with you. So I have some notes here. The first thing that you want to do is you want to identify the date that you want to have. Taking into consideration other things that are going on in your local community, national events. It's February now, so it's Black History Month. So you want to be sure that you're mindful of other events that are taking place when you're scheduling a date for your event. And once you come up with a date, you want to make sure that you get a location that's feasible for the amount of people that you want to have. Whether or not you want to have it downtown, do you want to have it at a church or a local community center, at a college. So you have to figure out where do you want to have the event, and then do your planning accordingly. What's going to be the purpose of the event? Is it going to be an anniversary celebration? Is it going to be a fundraiser? Is it going to be a health fair? So you have to identify what is going to be the purpose of your event, and then what time do you want to have it. If you're doing a luncheon, obviously you want to have it in the afternoon. If you're doing a dinner, you want to have it either around 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, or do you want to do a breakfast? So you have to figure out what time do you want to have the event, and then how many people do you expect to have as guests. That's also going to help you determine your location, because the more people that you have, you want to find a bigger venue to fit the amount of people. So how many guests do you plan to have in attendance for your event? And then, are there going to be any VIPs? Are there going to be any people that you're going to recognize at the event? If so, you might want to consider maybe having a dais at your event where your VIPs can sit up kind of at the top. The dais is where you have the VIP sitting up, or maybe your sponsor sitting up at the top, and then they're facing the audience. So that might be something that you want to consider when planning your event. So let's look at some pre-planning that you'll need to do just initially to get started on planning your event. First thing you want to do is you want to put together a really strong committee. You want to put together someone who can act as the chair, and they will be responsible for driving the tasks that need to be done for your event. So you want to find somebody that's not too busy, someone who's reliable, who will return phone calls, and someone who has a little bit of influence in the community and influence with the other group members that are going to be coming on as part of the team. So you're going to need a chair, and then underneath the chair you're going to need to create subcommittees. Whether you create a cleanup committee or a sponsorship committee or an ad committee, they could be the people who are responsible for asking people for ads if you're going to do a souvenir book. So you might want to have a committee for that. And then within those committees, you want to establish the responsibilities. What will they be responsible for? What are the deliverables? And that's going to be very important. And if you don't get all this down, I'm going to upload a check sheet that I use on my website. So you'll be able to get that there if you're not able to write everything down. One thing that you want to do early on is you want to confirm your speaker. Are you going to have a guest speaker, someone who's going to come out of state? Is it going to be someone for your local community, from your local community? If you're going to have a speaker, you're going to have to arrange for airfare. You're going to have to arrange for ground transportation. So really thinking about what those costs will be if you bring in an outside speaker, because you're going to have to factor all of that in when you create your budget. Then you are also going to look into getting your hotel booked. Where do you want to have it at a hotel? First of all, that might be one of the possible venues that you might want to use. And then if you are having a conference or an event where people are coming from different cities or throughout the state, you might want to consider booking a suite or room at a hotel. Booking a block of rooms is what they call it, and then you will get a confirmation code or a reservation code, and when your attendees come to register for the event, they will give the confirmation code to the hotel and know that those rooms are specifically booked for your event. So that's something else that you can do. And then early on, you want to identify a graphic designer. The graphic designer is going to be responsible for creating your flyers, your save the date, your invitations, your tickets. In addition to finding a graphic designer, you also want to make sure that you have a printer. So once your invitations are done, your save the date is done, if you're doing a souvenir book, the graphic designer can create it, and then you'll have to send those items out to a printer to be printed. So make sure you price printers within your area to find out what will be the best rates for you to do. And if you are putting together a souvenir book, when we talked about identifying your graphic designer and your printer, make sure that people send you print ready ads. If they don't send you print ready ads, then that means you're going to have to go in and design the ad. You're going to have to add in the information. You're going to have to add in the graphics, and then you're going to have to send that. And also take advantage of social media. Eventbrite is really good for setting up events and having people RSVP so you know how many people to expect. And then you can link that straight to your Facebook page, which can be really helpful. Early on, you also want to consider what type of audio visual equipment will you need. Are you going to have a PowerPoint presentation? Are you going to need microphones set up? So you want to determine those needs early on. And again, that's going to be dependent upon your venue, because some venues include that. Some you have to pay additional charges for that. So really consider that when you're creating your budget. Which brings us to the next point of your budget. You have to make sure that you take into consideration all of your costs. What are those things that are going to rack up the most cost for you, and what are some things that can be underwritten? Depending on the event that you choose, you might have to purchase your own tables, chairs, tents, linens. So if that's something that you have to do, make sure that you find a local event planning company in your community who you can contact for prices for that. Ideally, it would be great to have the event at a place that provides all of that, so you don't have to worry about setup or tearing down after the event. It's all taken care of. They provide the tables, the linens, everything that you need, the silverware, the cups, the plates, everything. So being able to work with the company that provides all of that, it's really going to save you a lot of time and a lot of money.